I am the director for the North Carolina Community College Leadership Program this year, and it's our pleasure to welcome you to our ceremony for the North Carolina Community College Leadership Class of 2018 graduation ceremony. For those of you who may not be familiar with our program, the North Carolina Community College Leadership Program strives to create community college leaders who connect, who care, and who collaborate by enhancing skills for current and future leadership roles. This 6-month program, helps to develop leaders who can focus on student success and also prepares them for future challenges that we're going to see within the community college system. I'd like to take just a couple of moments to say thank you to some very important people who have supported this program through many years, this year in particular, but through the 29 years that the program has been in existence. This coming October, we are celebrating our 30th year, so we're very excited about that. So I'd like to say thank you to our Presidents Association and the presidents who are here in attendance today. The Presidents Association has always been very supportive of this program, and we certainly appreciate that and look forward to your continued support. We also have some representatives here from our system office, and they also have been very active and involved in our program. We'd also like to say thank you to Central Carolina Community College and also to Dr. Mark Hall. They have given us the use of this facility. They have been very, very supportive of having us here, have bent over backwards to accommodate us, and we couldn't ask for some nicer folks to have us here. So we certainly appreciate your support as well. I'd also like to take a moment just to recognize our leadership team that has been responsible for the planning and all the behind-the-scenes work that occurs with this program. Even though we look like a well-oiled machine, our gears get hung up every once in a while, but we try to make it look really smooth. Dr. Pat Akers, who is our fearless leader for the past 10 years. This program wouldn't be what it is without the vision and the leadership of Dr. Akers. Dr. Lisa Eads is going to be stepping into the director role this year, so we're very excited for Lisa and look forward to what she's going to be bringing to the program. You know, every once in a while you work with somebody and it just clicks and it works really well. And I really feel like that's how Lisa and I have worked together this year. At last year's ceremony, I kind of jokingly said she's the Batman to my Robin. And that's kind of how we've worked this year, so it's been really great. Sandy Peabody is our jack of all trades. She's primarily our AV and technical person who helps with the program. And she just does pretty much whatever we ask her to do and need to do, so we appreciate her help as well. Scott Byington from Central Carolina has been our treasurer for the past several years, and we jokingly say Scott's job is to keep our books straight and keep us all out of jail. So even though we joke about that, we're really serious about that. Besides, Pat's favorite color is purple. She wouldn't look good in orange, guys. No, you wouldn't. So, you know, we couldn't have had this wonderful program if it were not for the hard work of everybody that's been involved with this program. It certainly is a team effort, and you know, we've had support of graduates and alumni through the years that has just been outstanding, and the program just continues to evolve and grow, and it's because of the wonderful support that we have from different areas within our system, so we certainly appreciate that. So graduates, you were chosen to participate in this program because someone at your institution saw some potential leadership in you. So our sincere hope is that during your time here in this program that you have or will take the things that you have learned, go back to your institutions and become a better leader at your institution. We really look forward to seeing where you are going to go as time moves on and where you land. We've enjoyed getting to know you during these past 6 months, and we wish you all the best in your leadership journey. So with that, it is my pleasure now to introduce our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is Mr. Kennon Briggs, and prior to his retirement from the North Carolina Community College System in 2012, after 32 years in state and local government, Kennon served for 4.5 years as the Executive Vice President and Chief of Staff, and for over a decade as Vice President of Finance and Chief Financial Officer for the system. Before coming to the North Carolina Community College System, Mr. Briggs had been a senior budget analyst in the North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management for 11 years, with fiscal policy and oversight responsibility for community colleges and the University of North Carolina system. His career began in local government and as a county manager in 2 counties in the state. In the 6 years since retiring, Mr. Briggs has served either as an interim president or an interim chief financial officer at 5 community colleges in the North Carolina Community College system, and enjoys a robust consulting practice that includes boards of trustees and senior leadership training and professional development, budget and policy analysis, operational and management assessments, and college bylaws and policy manual rewrites. He is considered an expert on community college law. Currently, he serves as chairman of the Board of Trustees and chair of the Chancellor's Search Committee at the University of North Carolina, University of North Carolina, Asheville. Teaches online classes in the doctoral program in educational leadership at Western Carolina University, is a senior advisor to Upswing Incorporated, a teaching and learning company, and is an affiliate with Accenture Consulting. Mr. Briggs has a Bachelor of Arts and a Master's of Public Administration from North Carolina State University, go Pack, and has participated in postgraduate education and training in the School of Government at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. In 2013, he received the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the highest civilian award given by the Governor for exemplary service and exceptional accomplishments on behalf of the state of North Carolina. In 2001, he was selected as an outstanding fiscal officer in the North Carolina state government. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Kennon Briggs.
Good afternoon. Sounds pretty weak. Good afternoon. That's much better. Thank you. The 29th graduating class of the North Carolina Community College Leadership Program. Congratulations on that accomplishment and your completion of this outstanding developmental experience. I live down in Wilmington, my wife and I wouldn't drive up here if it weren't for someone of the quality and character of Dr. Pat Akers. Let's one more time recognize her. Welcome also some community college presidents I see in the audience, and friends, family, mentors, and others. It's good to see all of you again. Some of you I don't see very often, so it's a pleasure to see you. This afternoon, I want to talk to the graduates, soon to be, as you receive your certificate, about what we need to be looking for in community college leaders of today and tomorrow. I think this is really important to consider, and I want to share some of those thoughts with you. As was mentioned, I've just finished chairing, I hope we've had our last search committee meeting, a 9-month process for identifying the next chancellor of the University of North Carolina, Asheville. Never have I had an experience quite like that. I'm board of trustee chair, but the search committee process was pretty amazing. It was 9 months in length, involved a host of constituencies. It took us about 60 days to write the leadership statement, if you will, that went into our prospectus that was used to recruit candidates across the country. Earlier this week, I met with UNC System President Margaret Spellings. In the university world, the trustees don't get to choose their chancellor. They select, among all the candidates, the 3 that they think are best suited or the best fit, and I'll talk about that, to pass those names along to President Spellings. And she and the Board of Governors actually select our next chancellor at UNC Asheville. It's an interesting process, very different than the community college process. So the subject of leadership is fresh on my mind. It is very, very fresh in my mind right now. In these remarks today, I want to try to convince you and share with you why I believe it's important for you to both consider and step up and step into leadership roles in the system. We're losing a lot of talent in the system, quite frankly. But I want to talk about why it's important that you be willing to do that at your institution or perhaps at another community college throughout the system. I want to mention 5 characteristics I believe community colleges are looking for in leaders based upon my experience, my consulting practice, and what little I know about leadership. And then I want to give you a couple of challenges that you're going to face as your roles expand, as you step up into new roles. I want to try to put some challenges before you that I believe truly are confronting leaders throughout the system today. So if you can bear with me a little bit, we'll talk through those things. First of all, in a 2018 survey of administrators in higher education conducted by CUPA, the College and University Professional Association, they found the following facts about administrators and those in leadership positions in higher education. I think you may find this interesting. One that was surprising to me, although our Chancellor at Asheville didn't last but 3.5 years before she took a different position, and before that we had a long-serving Chancellor. It's interesting to me that the average tenure of a community college president, campus president, or CEO is only about 5.5 years now. It used to be that presidents went and filled those positions for a long period of time, some of them 10, some of them even 20 years. But that tenure has shortened dramatically. Further, the chief academic officer or provost in the university setting, that's the equivalent, they don't serve but about 3.5 or 4 years in that role. It's very stressful. The provost is sort of the go-between the faculty and administration and leadership. And in community colleges, the chief academic officer has a huge responsibility in defining programs with faculty that will serve the community well. In accounting and control, in the controller position, one that I'm familiar with, the tenure is a little bit longer, but only about 6.5 years. And we're seeing an out-migration or retirement of a lot of experienced CFOs in the community college system. So what the data shows, and I could go down through a list of other occupations, student financial aid, boy, that's a high-stress area, at least twice a year, if not all the time, and others. But the tenure is not lengthening of these leaders, it's actually shortening. And there are myriad factors why. When you look underneath some of that data about why presidents and administrators and development officers and others lead, there's a lot of pressure in the jobs today. Perhaps it were not so long ago. Stress, burnout, issues beyond their control. I think a lot of presidents, vice presidents are finding that they don't control some of the issues that confront them. They're beyond their control, maybe outside the institution coming in, if that makes sense to you. The second major thing I want to mention about this notion of what was found in the survey by CUPA is demographics. I think this is important. I'm looking at this leadership group here, and there's a lot of women and people of color in this group. So let me talk about that. Just over 50% of all higher education administrators are women. But the majority of administrators at the highest levels are men. Women are still trying to crack that ceiling, if you will, in the ultimate, in the highest levels. In terms of racial and ethnic minorities, they make up about 15% of higher education administrators. But what we're finding at Asheville, at UNC Asheville, and other places is it's very difficult to recruit and retain senior administrators in higher ed and faculty because they're in such great demand. Those with the credentials and those with the experience are in short supply, and when you find them, they're recruited heavily. We've lost some very good people of color at UNC Asheville because we can't pay enough to keep them. Other institutions take them. In terms of baby boomers, I think we hear a lot about that, but this is important to think through. With the aging of the population, there's more and more what I call institutional memory leading the scene. People who have 30, 35 years of real good experience. And I'm seeing a lot of nods today, and that's good. We're hitting the right measures. And that experience is at times not replaceable, but let me say it this way. I want you to hear me, graduates. While that's not necessarily a good thing, it does open up opportunities. And when you think of it that way, it opens up opportunities for good leaders like you to fill those positions. And I said to someone once, I was never a county manager until I was a county manager. People would ask me, what kind of experience do you have as a county manager? Well, none, I hadn't done it yet. So it's that way with presidents and some other senior administrative positions. These opportunities are opening up. And you're preparing yourself with things like this to be in those kinds of positions, if that resonates with you. So what does this all say about leadership positions in community colleges? Well, it says to me that it is important for you to look and consider thoughtfully opportunities to move into those leadership positions beyond today. Looking at the roster of this class, for example, which Dr. Pat provided to me, 6 deans, 12 directors, 3 department chairs, 2 vice presidents, and 6 mid-level and upwardly mobile practitioners. You're a good group. You're in the right spot to take on more leadership responsibilities. Each of you have that potential. And certainly, with completing this program, those opportunities for advancement will be before you. They should be before you. In fact, I think if you look at the alumni, there have been a lot of presidents and a lot of senior administrators who have come out of this program since 14 presidents. Case in point. Case in point. Thank you, Dr. Pat. So, let's say you are interested in stepping up and stepping out, testing the water, acting on faith, and other things that lead you into those roles. What 5 things might colleges be looking for? I'll just say 5 things that colleges might be looking for. Number 1, and I give credit to this, by the way, I should, to Dr. Doug Orr, President Emerita of Warren Wilson College. He's a very dear friend. He's done 100 presidential searches since his retirement from Warren Wilson. And he's a leader in the Association of Governing Boards, AGB. So this is some of his work, and I'll share it with you. Number 1, experiences, talents, and a strong resume. You have skills already. You have talents already. The key there is a strong resume and even better experiences as you move along the pathway. Sometimes your experiences match, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes you have to take what you have and exhibit it in a very positive way, an expression. The next one I borrowed from, this is a great little book. I commend something to your reading. A good speaker always does, I think. It's called On Emotional Intelligence. It's written by the Harvard Business Review, Dr. Daniel Goldman. I want to talk about 5 things within this second item, emotional intelligence, that I think are important for you all to know. 5 things within that. First, self-awareness. Knowing one's strengths, weaknesses, drives, values, and impact on others. You have to have a sense of awareness about it when you're dealing with people from a leadership position, whether it's a peer or subordinate. Second, self-regulation. Controlling or redirecting disruptive impulses and moods. Your tone as a leader sets the tone for those you're working with. If you bring a bad tone, or if you bring a mood, or a tude, as my daughters call it, with you to work, it's going to play out negatively within those you manage. Third, and this is important, I believe, motivation. Relishing achievement for its own sake. What makes you motivated? What within your psyche motivates you to do what you do? It's a very important factor, and it comes from inside. If someone has to constantly prod you from the outside, your board of trustees if you're a president, which doesn't happen, of course, or senior administrator and the president has to push you, or right on down the line. If you don't have that self-motivation, if it's lacking, it's difficult to be an effective leader, in my opinion, in my experience. Fourth, empathy. You have to have empathy. Understanding other people's emotional makeup. Folks may come to work someday, you're the leader, they have emotional thought, and they come to you. And so you have to be able to deal with that in an empathetic way. And finally, social skill. Building rapport with others to be able to navigate different social situations. Does that make sense? Those are the 5 things. And increasingly, we wrote into our leadership statement at Asheville this EI, or EQ factor, for people to look at themselves before they apply at UNC Asheville. The third major thing I think they're looking for is the right fit and the right match. I do think that's critically important. You may be the most qualified person in the world for something, but you may not be the right fit or the right match with what that institution needs. And I think that fit and match factor are very, very important. Number 4 of the 5, take the right fit and the right match and put it in a specific moment in time. Where is the institution in its life? Sometimes you need a builder. Sometimes you need a maintainer. At Asheville, we need someone to raise a ton of money. For example, when we started with 150 applicants and got the pool to 10 that we interviewed in airport interviews in Charlotte, we made it really clear we're looking for someone who can generate the resources for the institution because we're small. We're the state's public liberal arts institution. We don't grow much. And you have to grow to get money, both in the university and in community colleges. So in our point in history, we need a builder, we need a fundraiser. We don't need a caretaker. We really don't need a caretaker. Sometimes institutions grow really fast and they grow really hard. And there needs to be a period of breathing. We're not at that place. You'll discern that as a leader when you start looking for the right fit and the right match at that institution's point in history. Does that make sense to you? Okay, and finally, is someone on the hunt for a better position, any position? Is this a wannabe? Or is this person's heart in the position they're seeking or in the position they're fulfilling as a leader? Where's the heart in this one? Is this truly where you want to be? Or are you looking this to find? And there's a real difference in how people behave and perform as leaders. Finally, the last thing I want to share with you before you celebrate this moment more fully. Let's identify some challenges that a leader may face in the position that they're stepping into. The first thing I want to say to you is that all the literature and many campus leaders will tell you that in fact, never perhaps before in the history of the country has the value of higher education been questioned more than it is now. The value proposition of higher ed. People look at over $1 trillion of student debt. They look at degree completion without a job opportunity. And that value proposition we've never had to face before is under assault in higher ed. And it would be a leader's responsibility to defend and explain what the value of a post-secondary education is. I'm just curious, how many people in the room are first-generation college students besides me? Show of hands. Now look around. You know, it wasn't, the value proposition for us is, can I afford to get there and go? And it was the pathway. It was the time that lift all ships. Leaders are under that kind of question. I mentioned resource development. Donors, grants, scholarships. Dr. Johnson knows what I'm talking about. Leaders are now expected to raise money in these senior positions. And if they're smart, they're having their chief academic officer, their dean of student services, they're joining with them to help do that. Because there are all a lot of stories to tell, and donors love the stories. The public's trust. It doesn't take one scandal at one institution in community colleges or at the university and everyone gets painted the same way. So that value of the public trust is critically important for you as leaders. If you lose it, you're done. It's very important to maintain it. I think the last thing I'll mention that's a challenge is something called the enterprise leader. That's a new term. Enterprise leader is someone who tries to strengthen the financial base of their operation. And if you're in the vice president's role, you try to grab a little more budget away from the CFO and the president if you can. But also the academic quality and effectiveness of programs. Those are under tremendous scrutiny. And protecting the institution's reputation and its mission. Just a few, and I had listed a dozen, just a few of the challenges that leaders now face within and from without the institution. Well, I think it's, the point I guess I'm trying to make to you today is think carefully about where you go from here. As you've heard Dr. Pat say, this has launched a lot of careers. This training program, this education program has launched a lot of careers. Think carefully about the pursuit of your opportunities. Look for the alignment that fit. Try to prepare yourself for the challenges, but don't shy away. The system needs great leaders to continue the legacy of what we've enjoyed for over 50 years. Thank you for your attention this afternoon, and I wish you all very, very well as you move forward in new opportunities of leadership. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am so excited to be at this moment today, and I have been saying throughout this whole 6 months that it's going so fast. And I cannot believe that the graduation day is already here for this wonderful group of participants. Each year in the North Carolina Community College Leadership Program, participants are tasked with creating a project or a presentation to celebrate what they've learned and also give back to the program. So at this time, I'd like to invite the class of 2018 forward to present their project or presentation.
It's wonderful not to know what you're going to do and be surprised.
Okay, everybody, sorry about that. Good afternoon. We're so happy that all of you were able to come out today and join us and support us on a Friday afternoon, no less. We've had a great class, and one thing we did at the end of our last class last month was Pat had us all stand in a circle, and she has a little squishy ball that she throws around. We throw it back and forth, and when you get it, it's your turn. And we all talked about what the class meant to us and what we got out of the class. And I think I speak for everybody. It was a pretty powerful moment to hear how it touched each individual. And there was a lot of choking up, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room that day. So what we're going to attempt to do over the next few minutes is more eloquently come up and share what that has meant to us and how important this program is. So one of the things that Lisa mentioned was that throughout the year we get together in groups. They split us up in small groups, and we had different presentations that we did throughout the year. So I'm going to ask a member from each group will come up and share some things with you. So we'll start with Erica.
Author, speaker, pastor, and expert or guru of leadership, John Maxwell wrote, "A leader is one who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way." The North Carolina Community College Leadership Program is one that embodies that philosophy. My team, the Dynamic Duos, want to acknowledge and thank the brilliant and truly outstanding lead facilitator, Dr. Pat Akers, whose leadership and vision steered this program from day one. And also including in that her amazing team, Robin Ross, Dr. Lisa Eads, Sandy Peabody, Scott Byington, and Dr. Jenny Billings. We are truly thankful and grateful for each of you. It was always a pleasure coming to the NCCCLP, those sessions with these lovely and engaging and inspiring people, and we could tell that it was so obvious that everybody was truly committed to helping keep this program grow strong. Our team took the approach of coming up with an acronym for what the NCCCLP meant to each of us. Each letter represents a direct quote from each team member. The N stands for network. I made some wonderful connections and developed some amazing relationships. The first C stands for collaborate. This program provided the opportunity for the creation of meaningful, genuine, and lasting relationships with like-minded peers in the community college system, who I now know I can turn to for help when needed. The second C stands for challenge. This program pushed me out of my comfort zone and challenged me to think differently about leadership. And the final C stands for connections. I have made great connections and learned so much from our cohort, our leaders, as well as the presenters, that I hope to implement in my current role as well as the future. The L stands for lifelong learners. This program provided amazing workshops that were challenging, informative, and entertaining. As a result, I believe they have enriched the lives of all the participants with the skills that they need in order to be wonderful leaders in their personal and professional endeavors. And finally, the P stands for professionalism. I am truly honored my college would make such an amazing investment in my professional career. Sixth President of the United States, John Quincy Adams, stated that if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. The work of a leader is far from over, and I believe that what we've accomplished together as leaders and participants of this program is just the start to a great future at all of our community colleges. We hope that you all will continue your journey of leadership with more dedication now than ever before. If you look at the progress we've made in the past 7 months, just think about what we will accomplish in our tenure at our community colleges. So our challenge to you all is a quote from the famous basketball player, Michael Jordan. Earn your leadership every day. Thank you.